And you join us, ladies and gentlemen, on centre court at the start of this very exciting match between the two top seeds, Percy Bysshe Shelley and John Keats. Shelley, of course, said to be the more volatile of the two, has had one or two problems in the past with umpires. You may remember that he was sent off court during the final last year against Lord Byron, when he emptied his inkwell over Byron in a temper, after Byron won a superb point with "She walks in beauty like the night." And here come the players. With Shelley looking very colourful, wearing the latest fashion, a stylish frock coat and toning stockings topped off with a large white handkerchief, edged with lace. And as the two poets walk across the court, I would say that of the two, Shelley looks the more confident by far. Oh, and he stopped to acknowledge his fans, some of whom have been camping outside the Academy of Romantic Arts all week, in the hope of seeing their hero. And I'm sure there are a few more watching the action on the big screen on the nearby hillside, or Bysshe's Bank, as it's affectionately called. They approach the umpire for the toss of the coin. Shelley will be hoping to serve first, of course, as this will give him a huge advantage over his opponent. Oh, and by the look on Keats's face, Shelley will indeed be opening this match. A bit of a blow to Keats there. And as they limber up, Keats looks a little below strength. A reliable source tells me that Ode to a Grecian Urn really took it out of him.
Play, Mr. Shelley to serve.
And Shelley's off to a good start, while Keats gazes dreamily into space. He's not been influenced by his doubles partner Coleridge again, has he? I did hear that they'd been reciting lines from the Ancient Mariner well into the night. And Coleridge does have rather a reputation for, high living. Yes, Keats is definitely off guard, and Shelley hits him with,
"O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being."
15, love.
Brilliant shot from Ode to the West Wind. A very bold start from Shelley, using the autumn theme there. We know that autumn is one of Keats's favourite seasons. How will Keats match that one? Oh my, he's leaping to his feet and confidently counters with,
"Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness."
15, all.
Oh yes, clever shot. The opening line of To Autumn. Shelley wasn't expecting that one.
"I met a traveller from an antique land."
30, 15.
Oh dear, I think Shelley may have used one of his best lines too early. This gives Keats a bit of an advantage.
"Much have I travelled in the realms of gold, and many goodly states and kingdoms seen."
30, all.
Oh, what a wonderful long lob from Keats. The opening line of his famous sonnet. Shelley's getting really rattled now. It appears that I may have misjudged Keats earlier. He is, after all, a lot less flamboyant than many of his fellow poets. He may have simply been biding his time. And as the change ends, Shelley must be wondering if the match is slipping away from him. He mustn't lose concentration here.
Time, Mr. Keats to serve.
"Thou wast not born for death, immortal bird."
"Hail to thee, blithe spirit, bird thou never wert."
"She dwells with beauty, beauty that must die."
"That beauty in which all things work and move."
Out, 30, 40. New pens, please.
What a brilliant rally. Keats has really found his form, with two snappy phrases from the last verse of Ode on Melancholy. And Shelley could only manage a feeble return from his rather overlong poem on Adonis. A brilliant repetition of beauty from Keats.
Play, Mr. Shelley to serve.
"We watched the ocean and the sky together, under the roof of blue Italian weather."
"I met a lady in the meads, full beautiful, a fairy's child. Her hair was—"
Oh, good return from Keats there. But wait a minute, the umpire is looking towards the line judge.
Fault, second service.
"You cannot be serious. You cannot be serious. That was clearly in. I clearly heard the rhyme. Ink flew up. You cannot be serious."
Second service.
"That serve was clearly in. Didn't you see how the theme of the ocean and sky was continued in the adjective blue in the second line? Call yourself an umpire. You don't know the first thing about imagery."
Oh dear, oh dear. The crowd hates to see this kind of thing. It's not how they expect their poets to behave. Shelley really must control that temper of his. I can see his coach, Alfred Lord Tennyson, sitting over there with his head in his hands. He won't be at all happy with his protégé. I'm sure he's remembering Shelley's heated outburst at the Poets' Open. Let's hope that Shelley can refocus.
Second service.
My soul is an enchanted boat.
Angels of...
Deuce.
My soul is an enchanted boat, which like a sleeping swan doth...
Float.
Vantage, Mr. Keats.
Well, we certainly didn't expect this. Shelley's unexpected writer's block there gives Keats match point.
Our sweetest songs.
Deuce.
Phew, Keats didn't see that coming. Shelley really means business here.
Our sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thought.
Vantage, Mr. Shelley.
Oh, yes. This is the Shelley we all know, softening the opposition with another sentimental line from Ode to a Skylark. And Keats has fallen for it. I can't believe it. He's leaning back in his chair and gazing to space again.
Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair.
Game, set and match, Mr. Shelley.
Oh, wonderful. The pivotal line from Ozymandias. He used that before to take the semi-final against Wordsworth. What a splendid way to finish this match. Although one must feel a little sorry for Keats. He seemed to throw away the advantage. After losing to Shelley 3 times in a row, we must begin to ask ourselves whether Keats can still call himself the top romantic poet. We may have an opportunity to chat to the victorious Mr. Shelley. I can see him walking towards us. Well, Percy, young Keats certainly gave you a hard time there. What were your thoughts when he took you to deuce with that brilliant rhyming shot?
Brilliant? I don't think it was that brilliant. I was going to say float anyway. He just took advantage of my hesitation, that's all.
Yes. And you finished with your famous smash, of course. That must have been a very satisfying moment.
Yes, I always try to end on an amazingly high note, and Ozymandias is certainly one of my finest poems.
But you'll surely agree that Keats is a worthy opponent.
He was in the past, but I fear that he's never had the killer instinct. Without that, you've no hope in this game. I mean, look at John Clare.
John Clare? I don't think he's ever played here, has he? I'm not sure that the fans would know his work, or even who he is. He's not in the top 5, is he?
Indeed he isn't. He's ranked 56th, I believe. I rest my case. His poetry is far too confessional, you see. Too concerned with his own little life. I mean, I am yet what I am, no one cares or knows. What's that all about then? It all went downhill after his wife left him. Ended up in a lunatic asylum somewhere, so I'm told. And now you must excuse me. My fans are waiting.
Well, John, runner-up once again. You must be very disappointed.
Yes, Frank. I just lost it after our sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thought, I'm afraid. I don't know anyone who could recover after a beautiful backhand like that.
And the final smash.
Yes, the final smash. I've played against Percy many times before. I should have seen that coming.
So, what's next for you, John?
Well, I'll have to go away and rethink my tactics. I'm working on an epic poem at the moment, which will help me regain my form, I hope. Epics are all the rage, you know. I'm going to call it Isabella, or The Pot of Basil. I can't quite make up my mind.
Basil, John?
It's a herb, Frank.
A very long poem about a herb. I see.
Yes, Frank. And I'm on the 10th verse already. Would you like to hear it? I just happen to have a copy in my bag here.
I'm sure our viewers would love to hear it, John, but unfortunately we don't have any more time. We're about to go into the commercial break for a message from our sponsor, the Parky Ink Company.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, join us after this message from our sponsor, the Parky Ink Company, when we will return to Court 1 to join the match between that amazing young talent, Mozart, and the reigning champion, Beethoven. And I can tell you that Mozart has just taken the first set with the overture to the Marriage of Figaro. And now a word from our sponsors.
I wandered lonely as a hen that clucks on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I found my pen amongst the golden daffodils. But then I felt my spirits sink, for I had come without my ink.
A piece of chalk is fine for drawing a straight line. A pencil is okay, but sometimes rubs away. For folk who really think, the only thing is ink.
I see they're still sticking with Wordsworth then.
Who?
The sponsors.
Looks like it.
I sent them a jingle, you know.
Did you?
Yes. Want to hear it?
Not really, no.